Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out my channel. Now if you checked out my other videos, I've been working on my truck doing a few things, and one of them was to replace the fuel tank straps. And I mentioned in that video I had to do my fuel pump. Well, that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to replace the fuel pump in the front tank of my 95 F-150 extended cab long bed 2-wheel drive. It's not lifted, it's got a 302 in it, and this is going to be the same procedure that a lot of trucks in that F1 series, what they call the old body style, it's going to be the same for those too. So I'm going to show you what you need and how to do it. Alright, for this we're going to need a few tools. You're going to need a 13mm wrench to hold the top bolt for the strap mount on the tank. You're going to need a 15mm deep well socket, a ratchet and extension to loosen up that nut that's on that bolt, and you might need some penetrant if it's rusty like mine. You're also going to need either a flat tip screwdriver or a 5/16 socket to disconnect the fuel tank hose, the filler hose. And then you're going to need a special tool to remove your fuel lines from your tank. You're also going to need a small flat tip screwdriver, and what I'm going to use that for is a poor man's way, just to relieve the pressure in the fuel line system. So let's go ahead and do that first. We'll get underneath the hood and we'll relieve some pressure on the fuel line. Okay, what I'm shooting for here is this valve right here. Let me go ahead and get some rags in there and make sure that I don't have too much fuel leaking down on the engine, and I'll show you how to relieve the pressure with just this flat tip screwdriver. Okay, I removed the valve stem cap that covers up this Schrader valve. Now all I'm going to do is press this and allow the pressure to come out. Now it's going to come shooting out, and I want to back the camera off so we don't get it all covered, and also protect your eyes. Don't be looking down over top of this. You want to be back a little bit. So let's back up and just tap this. You can see fuel comes shooting out of there. As you can see, I'm depressing it now and there's really no fuel pressure at all. So we're all done here. Let's go ahead and take this gas covered rag out and we'll put this valve cap back on. So we're all done underneath the hood. Let's get back underneath the vehicle. Alright, as mentioned on my other video, you can see that the gas tank, at least the front one, or what they call under the cab, or the side one, and it's just behind the cab and in front of the rear axle. So let's climb underneath there and I'll show you what we're jumping into. Okay, so you can see there's the rear tire, and here's the filler neck where it goes into the front tank, and there's the front tank. So what I'm going to do is loosen the gas tank filler strap that's right there with my 5/16 socket, and I might possibly have to do this one and maybe move the whole filler neck in. Okay, so I loosened this strap, you can see here. Okay, because of the inner filler tube that's on the fill tube that goes to the gas tank, there's actually two hoses, which I'll show you here then in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and take my filler neck out also. I'm going to be using a 7mm socket to remove these 3 screws, and then I'm going to go inside and take out one more hose clamp, the other one that was right next to the one I showed you that I took off, and that's going to release this from the body of the truck and allow this to drop down and pull off that hose a little bit easier. Okay, with those 3 screws removed that hold the neck to the door location, you can see I loosened this strap also. And now this neck is really free just to drop, and we can pull it off of the hose. And you can see there's actually 2 hoses that go inside the tank. And basically what this is one's a vent and one's an actual fill. And it's also part for anti-siphoning reasons. And it's because it's unleaded. So there's a lot of different reasons why they have 2 hoses. But I just wanted to show you, don't be afraid. This is the way it's supposed to be. Alright, and this is what it looks like when the filler neck is completely removed from the tank. You can see that hose is quite long and goes quite a bit inside of this hose that's still connected to the tank. So let's go ahead and get to the straps now finally. Now if you haven't seen my other video, I replaced the front strap on this front tank, and now I'm getting ready to remove it all together. And the socket that's required for the nut, which let me get back here. This is a 15mm for this nut. I might have to spray some penetrant on here, it's pretty rusty. And then I need a 13mm boxed in wrench that goes on top of the frame, which I'll come in from the back and on the top, and I'll hold the bolt as I spin that nut off. Okay, so you can see that rear bolt and nuts taken off. Definitely put some penetrant on and make it a lot easier for you. Now I used an impact so it came off for me. But if you're using a ratchet, you may want to put some PB Blaster or WD-40 on there and let it soak. Okay, so now I'm going to take off this front one. However, there's nothing holding the tank, so what I'm going to do is get a milk crate and put it underneath the tank, so when it falls, it doesn't fall all the way to the ground and cause problems for the lines and wires that are connected to the top of the tank to where they're strained too much. Okay, so I'm on the passenger side. You can see I let the tank drop down. I removed both the bolt and nuts for both straps. And I just rotated the front strap out of the way because I'm going to reuse that one. It's new. But I took the back strap completely off because I'm going to replace that. Now, whenever you're lowering the tank, let's get up inside here a little bit further. You're going to have to feed that filler tube over the frame rail to let the tank lower. But I do have the tank supported again with a milk crate. Now, you can see there's wires that go to this sending unit. And those wires go up through a relief, which I have zip stripped because I've done the tank replacement years ago. And I'm going to put a link down below for that tank just to let you know, because this is a really good tank and they're good prices. And then I'm going to disconnect that wire right there that you can see there's a connector. The others are just hoses, and I'm going to disconnect those at the fuel pump. So let me disconnect those two fuel lines using my tool, which we had mentioned you're going to need a fuel line removal tool. That's what this is here. You can pick these up really cheap at your auto parts store. And then I'm going to, again, just disconnect that plug and we'll go from there. Okay, so you can see that I have the wire connector disconnected. I've got the two fuel lines disconnected. The last thing I could do is this breather line. And there's a couple different ways you can do it. I'm just going to pop this out of the tank gently. If you don't have the patience for that, you might want to go ahead and try to disconnect the hose up on the line, or possibly cut the hose, put a new hose on. Make sure it's an emission hose, make sure it's a very good hose. It can't be just a standard hose. Okay, and that's what it looks like there once it's out of the tank. It's just a big grommet and then it pushes in the grommet. So you're going to have to pull that grommet out most likely with it. Okay, so now that that's loose, all I got to do is continue to feed this filler hose over the fuel rail and lower the tank on the ground and slide it out. Okay, I wanted to make mention that all this process, my front tank, even though the fuel pump has been bad for a while, it still pumped fuel. So what I did is whenever I was in straightaways and areas that my fuel pump really didn't make too much of a difference if it failed or stalled, I would run on my front tank so I could run all the fuel out. If you have a fuel pump that completely failed, you really need to drain, siphon all the fuel that you possibly can out of it. Because even with this listed on E, there's still about a gallon of gas inside here. And it surely makes the tank a lot easier to manipulate when there's that little gas. A few further notes working with gas tanks. As soon as this gets opened up, or as soon as this hose is disconnected, you gotta realize there's fumes. And the gas doesn't ignite, it's the fumes that ignite. You don't want to cause a spark, because even though there's only a gallon of gas in here, there's a lot of fumes in here. And if this thing exploded right now, it'd be crazy. So just to let you know, be very careful. What I'm going to be doing is taking off this ring. And what you do is you just basically get a drift or a punch and get it inside this lock ring and pound this lock ring to where it disengages these tabs that are holding it on. Okay, once you have this ring disengaged, what you'll have to do is you'll have to hit in different areas on the ring in different positions, because this ring not only turns, but it does move up and down too. So you want to make sure you're just not hitting it into the side. Take turns hitting it on all the different tabs until it comes loose. But once that comes loose, we'll go ahead and remove it. You just slide it off the wire here. You'll just be lifting out the fuel pump in the sending unit, being careful of the float. Now, it's not going to be straight, it's going to be kind of crooked, so I'm going to put the camera down, I'm going to wiggle it out, and then we'll take a look at the pump. Okay, so I got the fuel pump assembly out of the tank, and when I did, I was lifting it carefully not to bend this arm that goes to the sending unit itself. And then the screen here was going to have to be folded up a little bit to get it pulled out. I want to talk about the fuel pump though. Whenever you get it out, this is going to be filled with gasoline, so make sure you're aware of that. You got to dump all that out. But I want to talk about the fuel pump and how you can buy it in different configurations. What you're seeing here is a complete fuel pump assembly, and what you get with that is everything that you see: the strainer, the pump, and what they call the sending unit, which is all these hard lines and tubes, and of course the top, and of course the wiring that goes down to the pump and the sending unit. When you replace it, you can purchase all of this. It's going to be kind of expensive, but it is a good peace of mind if you want to go that route, that you just pull out your old one, slide in the new one, and you're done. Of course, you're going to be putting a new strainer on the assembly that comes with it, but you'll be done, and you know that all of it's set and works together. Now, if you want to save a little bit of money, and when I say a little bit, it all depends where you purchase all this at, you might be able to get just the fuel pump module. And what that is this plastic piece here, and inside is a fuel pump. Usually with the fuel pump modules, you'll get the new gaskets for here, and you'll also get a new strainer. Now that's what I purchased. But if you want to go even cheaper yet, you can get just a fuel pump that's inside of this module, but then you have to take apart this module, and you possibly have to solder, you can do some crimping, and put the fuel pump inside of here. And that's a little bit more than I wanted to do. And for the peace of mind, again, the cheap method with just the fuel pump that's inside here, that's probably $18 to $20. This fuel pump module that I purchased, which we're going to go to here in the video, was $45 from Amazon. I'm going to put the link down below for that, so if you feel like you want to go that route after you see how this is done, you can click that link and it'll take you right to it. Or you can buy the entire fuel pump assembly, which I'll also put a link for that too, but that's up to you. If you want to go that route, you can purchase it, and once you pull this out of the tank, you'll be basically putting in the new stuff. Of course, you'll have to install a strainer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and break open the box that I got from Amazon, and we'll take a look to see what we got. So I ordered this from Amazon like I do a lot of my stuff, and this thing was just one day to get to me. We got the traditional blown up package, and here's the pump, AutoBest. Now I read reviews on this, and I went to their website, and I'll tell you, I was ISO certified in a job position that I had years ago, and I was actually an ISO 9000 internal auditor for the company that I worked for. It's a Fortune 500 company. And I'll tell you that I really am impressed how structured and how much is required for you to become ISO certified. And this company is ISO and TS certified to standard 16949. It's 2002. So I thought, with the fact that they were certified, that there's got to be quality control going into this product. Now, for my truck specifically, it's a part number F150A. That's because I have a 19-gallon front tank, and this is on a long bed. But I believe this pump itself might be the same for all the vehicles. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what it looks like inside. Alright, you can see we have the gaskets. There's some clips in here that I don't need. These clips look like something from old days gone by. There's some crimping connectors here, which I'm sure we're going to use. And here's the pump. Now it's kind of nice, they already have the strainer installed on there for me. And you're just basically pushing in hoses or pipes into these fittings and then securing it all to the sending unit. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is compare the two to make sure that they are physically the same. But in this case, this really looks the same. Now what I'm going to do is start taking apart the sending unit here, which is just amount of 1/4-inch screws, it looks like. And we'll go ahead and pull that apart and transfer it over to this one. Okay, so I went ahead and removed all the items from the old fuel pump. I went ahead and clipped the wires that go to the pump itself. And what we're going to do is I'm going to strip back these wires here and make it to where I can put a connector on them to connect these two wires to these two leads that are coming off the new pump. I'm going to put the new pump on to the sending unit, the tubes, and they all just push in. These are all just push-in fittings. And then I'm going to bolt this on along with the bracket to hold it all on this pump. Okay, so you can see I got everything changed over. I disconnected the negative, or the sending unit's signal wire from the ground here, or from the contact that goes through the wiring harness, I should say. And then as far as the wires, I clipped some of the length off of the new pump's wires and left a little bit more on the sending unit's wires. Other than that, I have it wrapped up out of the way to make sure that the wire does not interfere with the float operation whatsoever, but also so this stays secure and doesn't really have a binding point, anything that's pulling on the fittings or causing any kinds of problem, to where that's going to want to loosen up with vibration over time. But this is pretty much it. Now at this point, I can reinstall this into the tank, feeding all of this back into the tank, including the strainer, and then securing it with a new gasket, but you'll find the one that you need out of this assortment, and then putting the lock ring back on and securing it down. Okay, so now you can see that I've got it back in, and there's a couple of arrows that are on top of the sending unit that basically points forward and backwards. But make sure that you know your orientation before you take it out. Now, I put a little bit of lubricant, non-petroleum based lubricant, on the ring itself to make everything go together a little better, make it to seal a little better. I have to take this locking ring and, again, with the brass punch, turn this ring by alternating each tab, hitting it and getting it to where it twists in place to where it's locked. Okay, so you can see I got the lock ring back in place. I know that this is secured, and all we have to do is slide this underneath the truck, get it back up in position, and start reconnecting all these things. But I have both the tank straps hanging down at this point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tank and I'm going to enter from the passenger side and slide it over. Okay, so I went ahead and slid it underneath here. Again, like I said, you had to slide it a little bit forward to get it past the drive shaft. Then I slid it back in place where it needs to be. You're going to line up this recess in the tank with the padding that is up on that rail. Since I'm doing this by myself, like probably most of you are, I'm going to probably position a jack underneath here and lift this up just a little bit. Okay, so you can see I got a jack underneath here. What I did was lift the tank, and as I lifted the tank, I pulled the filler tube over the frame rail to position it closer to the neck, in which the other filler tube goes down into it. And also, once the lines were close enough to connect for the fuel pump, those two were connected. The safety clips then were clipped into place. Those are there, so in case the factory retainer fails inside the line, those will hold it on. And then I made sure the breather tube was clear as I plugged it in, and also then the wiring for the pump and the sending unit. Made sure that was all clear of anything as it got jacked up so it didn't get pinched. Once we got high enough, I went ahead and started that nut to keep that strap in place. And now all I'm going to do is do the same for the back. I'm going to run the strap up and under the tank and up to the bolting area in which it's supposed to connect to, and tighten it all down. Now before I lifted all this, as soon as I connected the connectors and the fittings, energize your key and put your tank on the front pump and make sure that the pump is working, because you don't want to go through all this trouble of mounting it to find out that your pump's not working at all. Okay, now that the tank's in place and it's all bolted up real nice and tight, everything's centered, nothing's pinched, everything's clear, we have this filler tube that's just sticking out here without its provision to connect to the filler neck. So what I'm going to do now is take the filler neck and I'm going to feed this tube down into the tank, and then once it goes in so far, we'll clamp the hose onto this, and then we'll bolt this end up to the fuel door where it came off. Okay, so I got that all bolted up. The screws are tightened at the filler neck door, and this clamp that holds it to the bed is tightened, and then of course the clamp that holds the hose to the filler neck. And the line fed in okay. You might want to spray some silicone on the tube that comes off the filler neck to make it a little bit easier to get to the tank the way it's supposed to. Alright, so I've got that all buttoned up. Let me go ahead and turn the key forward and make sure everything's still connected and there's no leaks. So there you have it. Went ahead and started it up, ran it, there's no leaks, the pump's quiet, and it's working fine. So there you go. There's a lot of steps involved. And I hope I edited this down to enough that you can actually watch this. You can tell again, because my truck's so rusty, you get pretty dirty doing this. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Again, your links for the tank, the straps, and the fuel pump is all below. So click the links, it'll take you right to it. Thanks again. Bye.